Hearing is an important sense used for our day-to-day survival. If we have a problem in hearing process, we may face more difficulties in satisfying our needs. So, children with hearing impairment utilize the residual power of hearing through hearing devices prescribed by proper audiological assessment. The hearing impaired person develop their communication through various modes. One of the main modes of communication for children with hearing impairment is manual mode. Sign language is a manual mode which is the mother tongue of children with hearing impairment. Sign language is helpful for hearing impaired persons for their communication. The sighted hearing people during interaction and communication use sign and gesture to the excess of 60% and 40% respectively. Like verbal language, the sign language also consists of well structured language components with phonology, it means sound, morphology, it means structure of the word, syntax, it means sentence pattern, and semantic, it means study about the meaning of the sound, word and sentences. Sign language is a natural language involved in everyday activities. For an example, doing the action of buy or come. For the purpose of implementation of Persons with a Disability Act to create equal opportunity in the community, the government has announced many innovative schemes and programs. And one of the most innovative program is interpretation of sign language. Interpretation of sign language is an interactive process that will recognize the spoken language into different gestures or sign language into speech. The main aim of sign language interpreter is to convey meanings to the listener. Interpretation of sign language is a system which enhances the communication and social opportunities for persons with hearing and speech impairment, and the use of sign language makes them as independent as possible. Interpreter is one who is responsible for interpreting the spoken language of the speaker into an expression with a meaningful sign when the speaker passes after completing one or two sentences. He or she conveys message between two different languages, that is verbal and sign language. In a reverse, when deaf people do sign, the sign language interpreter converts the meaning of sign into oral language to listener. Sign language interpreter will stand in position to be allow the deaf participants to see very clearly and hear clearly, as well as allow the listeners to hear or see the speakers clearly. Children with hearing impairment face difficulties in speech reading of the speaker. It means lip movement of the speaker and follow the instruction of the sign language interpreter. At that situation, note taker may be helpful for hearing impaired persons during conversation or attending the meeting and getting a permanent record of the lecture. Note taker is a person who is responsible for taking down the whole lecture given by the speaker. Note taker may be appointed in the same class where children with hearing impairment studying. Some hearing impaired person do not use sign language but lip readers. For such person, lip speaker may be useful for collecting the information. Lip speaker repeats the words of the speaker without voice, and the hearing impaired person read speaker during the lecture, that is, produce the words clearly but without voice and rhythm, and uses facial expression, natural gestures as used by the speaker. The important aspect is that the lip speaker must possess good language skills for better comprehension of the speaker's message. Communication support worker play double role in communication process. That is, they have to provide sign language interpreting services and also provide a lip speaking services to hearing impaired. Before giving lecture, do some gesture and get the student attention. Avoid artificial speech. Speak very clearly with a natural rhythm, not exaggerating the lip movement. And do not use very loud voice like shouting, because loud voice also would not help them. Use natural gesture and facial expression. Good and adequate light should be fall on the interpreter so that the hearing impaired person can see his or her gestural or lip movement clearly. Position the students so that he or she can lip read easily. Repeat the questions if they are not understood. Use of visual material, that is handouts, key vocabulary, diagrams, written instructions whenever needed. Change of topic must be indicated. Minimize the background noise. Write important new words on the blackboard. Do not encourage the hearing impaired students to take notes, lip read and write simultaneously. Direct the student towards any course material on blackboard. Do not allow more than one person to speak at a time. The field of electronics has made a contribution towards development of aids and appliances to suit human needs. The development of amplification devices for use for persons having hearing impairment is one such advancement. In olden days, the people with a hearing impairment used strategies such as cupping a hand behind the ear or using animal horn, speaking tubes and trumpets to enable them hearing better. The development in the field of electronics has been revolutionizing amplification devices since 1940s. Amplification devices have gone through many developments from carbon devices to vacuum tube ones to transistor devices. The advent of integrated circuits and digital signal processing, today's amplification devices are highly sophisticated and flexible and provide valuable aid to persons with hearing impairment. Deaf or hard of hearing person may utilize the variety of assistive technologies for the purpose of improving the accessibilities in day-to-day activities. Most assistive devices may provide amplified sound or alternative way to access information through vision and or vibration. The main aim of assistive devices is to improve the residual power of hearing and make use of devices for the purpose of access to the information through their hearing. Assistive devices are grouped into three general categories, that is hearing technology, alternating devices and communication supporters. The role of hearing technology can be used for the purpose of improving the level of sound available to the listener. It can be divided into two general subcategories of assistive listening devices, that is ALD or personal amplification. Assistive listening devices can be utilized by individual or large group of people and can typically accessed without the support of specific personnel. Personal amplification can be used on basis of individual hearing levels. While using the personal amplification of audiologist is very crucial because he or she is one who assesses the hearing level of the individual. The main aim of assistive listening devices is to improve the signal to noise ratio in any given environment, in addition to increase the volume, minimize the effects of background noise, distance and room acoustic, it means room sound. ALD is provide the listener with the direct connection to the sound. There are variety of classroom amplification devices to increase the volume in the educational setting. Let us see some of them. Historically, it is known as one of the group amplification system. This system consists of microphone, amplifier and set of headphones. The microphone is for the teacher. While speaking, the microphone transmits the sound to a receiver owned by the student. Generally, hardwire systems are available for 6 to 8 users and arranged in a semicircle shape in the classroom. Each student's desk has a control box equipped with a volume control independently for the left and right headphone. One set of headphones is provided for each user. The teacher's microphone picks up the sound signal. Here, signal is the teacher's speech and it converts into electrical signal. This electrical signal transmitted to the amplifier is then amplified and delivered to the student control boxes. The student control boxes can be adjusted as per the amplification need of each user in individual ears. The amplified electrical signal is then converted to acoustic signal by the receiver in the headphones and delivered to the ears of children with hearing impairment. Induction loops utilize the electromagnetic energy to transmit the signal. The system can cover a small area with a loop placed permanently installed within the walls or ceiling of larger areas. For individual to access this type of technology, they must have a telecoil within their hearing aids. A loop is an insulated wire fixed around the designated listening area connected to a power sources, an amplifier and a microphone. The microphone picks up the sound from the sound sources and carries the sound to the amplifier, which in turn send the sound signal in the form of current around the loop. The current flowing through the loop causes the wire to act like a transmitting aerial. In order to receive this signal, the hearing aid user if the hearing aid has a T facility. He or she can move the on or off switch to the T position. The advantages of induction loop system. The teacher's child movement is permitted in loop system. Based on the severity condition, the child uses the amplification specification. Favorable signal to noise ratio and reverberation effects will be applicable in induction loop system. Digital recorders can be used by students with a residual hearing and are useful for keeping a record of lectures which can be stored in a computer. The advantage of recording is that difficult words or sentences can be replayed several times to be heard repeatedly. An FM system is a wireless system designed to help someone better identify and understand speech in noisy environment and over distance of up to 15 meters or 50 feet. This wireless system, also called a personal FM system, uses radio waves to deliver speech signal directly from the speaker mouth to the listener's ears. In this system, the sound is transmitted on a specific frequency or channel similar to a radio. FM system can be used for whole rooms or by individuals. Benefits of FM system: reduces background noises, improves clarity, reduces fatigue for the listener. Teacher and child mobility is permitted in the FM system. At the same time, constant favorable signal level is maintained. Infrared system transmits sound from the transmitter to a receiver through light waves. The light waves are invisible to human eye. Connection between transmitter and receiver must be very clear so that the light signal is not interpreted. Because the receiver contains a photo detector diode that picks up infrared light waves and changes into sound. The receiver can be worn, connected to earphones or used with the hearing aid on T pickup, that is within an adapter. The advantages of infrared system. In infrared system, no seating is restriction. Signal to noise ratio is maintained. Personal amplification is designed on basis of individual needs and severity condition of the person's hearing loss. The main aim of personal amplification is to make use of remaining power of residual hearing of persons with hearing impairment. A hearing aid is an amplification device that helps a person with a hearing impairment to hear well. In the broader sense, the hearing aid is any device that more effectively bringing sound to the ear. An electronic hearing aid is an amplifier whose function is to increase the intensity of sound energy to deliver it to the ear with as little distortion as possible. Hearing aids are available at different shapes and sizes, even though the basic elements of all the hearing aid are the same. Different styles of hearing aid include behind the ear, it known as BTE, in the ear, it is known as ITE, and in the canal, it is otherwise known as ITC. They vary based primarily on size and features. In the past, most hearing aid had analog circuits that process sound in a linear fashion so that what came in was made louder in equal amounts. Today, with improvement in technology, Most hearing aids are digital and programmable, which allow them to be set very specifically based on each individual's hearing level at different frequencies. Many have special processing capabilities that help improve speech recognition, noise reduction, and overall performance. Many hearing aids include a telecoil or a telephone switch that allows the user to access the electromagnetic energy in telephones. Cochlear implant is an electronic device that converts sound energy into electrical stimuli that can be processed by the auditory nerve. This is placed under the skin of the person's head. Cochlear implant provides a sense of sound to a person who is profoundly deaf or severely hard of hearing. In the case of congenital profound sensory neural hearing loss, the hair cells in the cochlea may be damaged. Cochlear implant replace the input of those lost or damaged hair cells to replicate the different frequencies and amplitude of sound. It will be utilized in the case of severe conductive hearing loss. It is a surgically implanted device. In this type, the sound vibration passes through the bones of the skull to the inner ear and stimulate the structure of the inner ear parts. Bone conduction hearing aids are used with a soft band to hold the device against the skin. In older children and adults, the surgical procedure is completed to implant part of the device. An external processor is still required. Hearing aid or an implant is not enough in some situation. In such cases, there are several technologies are designed to help people with hearing impairment. Several types of assistive listening devices are available to improve sound transmission for people with hearing loss. Some devices are designed on basis of large facilities such as classroom and theatres. Other devices are manufactured on the basis of personal use in small settings and for one-on-one conversation. So, dear students, I hope you understood the restoring techniques used by the human interpreter and technological devices. Thank you.